Here we are in mid-chapter 6 exercises number 7 through number 9. It says for each of these functions, for each function, find the domain. Find the y-intercept and sketch the graph. So we start off with domain. Number 7, here we have a fraction, and with fractions the bottom cannot equal 0. Well, that's easy. X cannot equal 0. So the domain, I'm going to write this up here, x cannot equal 0. The way we would write that in interval notation is from negative infinity up to 0, union 0 up to infinity, and that's a way of taking 0 out of the whole real number line. Find the domain, find the y-intercept. So when we put x in as 0, what do we get out for y? Stick in 0 right there. Wait, we can't stick in 0. There is no y-intercept. All right, let's take what we have right here, go down to the graph, and sketch it. We know that 0 is the bad one, so let's draw this as the vertical asymptote there. And that means we're going to be shooting up or down here. We need at least 1 point. Usually the y-intercept is the one we get. Let's pick a different number just so we have 1 point on this line, like 1. If we stick 1 in there, we get 1 over 1, but it's negative, so it's a negative 1. And so we have this point right here that is on the graph. And we know the other thing that we always know is that a fraction that gets really, really big on the bottom, so if we stick in really, really big x's, we're going to head off to 0. So I'm going to draw this out here as a horizontal asymptote. Okay, now we can sketch it. We have 1 point, and we know we're going to head to 0, and we know we're going to shoot down that asymptote. Here, we shot down on one side, so we're going to shoot up on the other side, and then we're going to come out here to 0. That's the shape. All right, number 8. Find the domain. The domain in this case, x minus 9, 0 on the bottom, we would need a 9 here. So x cannot equal 9. So the domain would equal from negative infinity up to 9, not including it, union 9 to infinity. There we go. The y-intercept, we can get the y-intercept. 0. If you stick in 0 here, you get 9 over 9 is negative 1. All right. And let's put everything we know on the graph. Number 1 is that the domain does not include 9. That is a vertical asymptote right here. There we go. And then we have 1 point, 0, negative 1, which is right there. And what's the other thing that happens? Oh, we know that if we stick in big, big, big numbers, the denominator goes to 0. I mean, the denominator gets really big, so we're going to head off to 0. So from this point, we're going to head down along the x-axis, the horizontal asymptote, and then we're going to head right down there. So that must mean we're heading up that vertical asymptote and then along to 0. And that's what it looks like. Ooh, this guy switched upside down of the others. Oh, of that one at least. That guy's the one that's upside down of what we normally do. Good. All right, number 9. Ooh, looks like we get a fun one. Look at this. On the bottom here, what numbers would make this 0? It's easiest to tell if we factor this out, and we get an x minus 4 and an x plus 3. All righty, x minus 4 and an x plus 3. That means there are 2 that are bad. X cannot equal a 4 or a negative 3. If they do, we're toast and we have 0 on the bottom. All right, so domain equals, how do we write that? From negative infinity up to negative 3, and then skip that guy and go from negative 3 to 4, skip 4, and go from 4 all the way up to infinity. So we plucked 2 points out of the real number line as its domain. Let's put those on there right now. So negative 3 looks like that, and 4 looks like that. We have 2 vertical asymptotes, so this thing is going to look very different in a sense. We also still have the same horizontal asymptote, though. If we stick in big numbers down here, we're going to head off to 0 as we head off to the left and to the right. And y-intercept, we need the y-intercept. So stick in 0, and we get 8 over 0 minus 0 minus 12. So 8 over, let's write that down, m of 0 equals 8 over negative 12 equals, divide by 4, 2/3, negative 2/3. Okay, so 0 comma negative 2/3. That's a point. We'll put him right there. Okay, we have all the pieces we need to sketch it. So from here, if we start moving to the left at all, we're going towards this line and we have to shoot down. Notice we can't shoot up because we don't have an x-intercept there. So this guy has to also shoot down. That's an unusual shape, but yeah, we don't have an x-intercept here. All right, if we shoot down here, we're shooting up here, which means we're going to be heading out to the left like that. If we're shooting down here, we're shooting up there along the vertical asymptote, and we're heading out towards 0 as we head out there. Wow, that guy looks interesting.